Good morning. I'm Mindy Tate, Executive Director for Franklin Tomorrow, and welcome to the February 8th Frank Talks. And this is one of our topics today that we do frequently, have done before, and that is on people to know. And so, unfortunately, we have to know these people in a Zoom box right now, but hopefully we'll get to meet them in person soon and be together. And we've got with us Patrick Baggett, who's our board chair. And hi, Patrick, or board president. We were debating that. We were trying to figure that out, but you're our new board president for Franklin Tomorrow for 2021. How are you today?
I'm doing great, and it's glad to see some friends here on the call and see folks joining on Facebook and YouTube. It's a great morning. I'm looking forward to this one as well. This is going to be what a panelist we have this morning.
So. It really is a great panel this morning. So Patrick, I will mention before I let you thank our partners, I will mention that you're also have a big role in our new podcast coming up that will premiere on Thursday, Front Porch Conversations, where we get to know residents of Franklin, sometimes on the front porch. Sometimes it's too cold to be on the front porch or the back porch, so we're going to do it inside, but you're featured in that, and that was fun for us to record, wasn't it?
That was fun. I'm looking forward to this for Franklin Tomorrow to broaden our series of not just events, but now entering the podcast world, and hopefully it will become one of those beloved things that Franklin Tomorrow does, like so many of our other events. So, yeah, it was fun. It wasn't what I expect. I mean, I didn't know what to expect, but it turned out to be great, and hopefully it will catch on once we get some better folks interviewed. We get some more people out there that can make it interesting. But no, it was a great first run. But so today, and why I'm here is to thank our partners, because like I said, there are so many events that Franklin Tomorrow does that impact this community in a positive way, which our goal is to engage and collaborate and bring together community members for a shared future of Franklin. And so with those events comes the need for tremendous partners, and we have them. Specifically today for Frank Talks, Renaissance Bank is our lead sponsor, and also Williamson Medical, who is a platinum sponsor across all events. But these two entities specifically today, we really want to thank, and the folks at Renaissance Bank, wonderful down there on Columbia Avenue, Tony Sharp, who is here today, and then our own board member, Diane LeBlanc, and Nicole Volk here, representing Williamson Medical. What you do and your contributions do matter, and it allows us to do things like this. So thank you both, and back over to you, Mindy.
So we'll start with Nicole. Nicole, welcome this morning, and tell us how things are at Williamson Medical Center and what y'all are working on, maybe besides a pandemic, because I know you all are continuing your work other than a pandemic.
Yes, thank you for having me. Welcome from the Williamson Medical Center campus, coming live to you. And yeah, I can't help but give an update on the pandemic, but let's talk about a couple other things as well. On the COVID front, things are looking a lot better here. Our numbers have gone down significantly since right after the holidays. So that just keeps us very hopeful that if we all continue to remain diligent and take the necessary precautions, that we can keep this under control. And what that allows us to do is open up capacity. Our staffing is at a normal level. We can make sure all of our services are open and available, and we can start to, let visitors back in for those that are in the hospital. There's just so many benefits that come with that. And so it brings us hope, and we definitely need that, because like everybody else, it's been a year that we've been dealing with this. And so things are looking much better. As far as non-COVID, February is Heart Awareness Month, so I can't help but to talk about that today. That's something we're celebrating all month long. And it's just a reminder that if you do have heart attack and stroke symptoms, there is no need to delay care. Call 911, get to the hospital, get checked out. It's better to be safe than sorry. And February is just one of those months where we can all remind ourselves and each other that we just need to be paying attention to that, because that's really important and affects a lot of people.
It does, and we do need to be mindful of that for sure. Well, thank you so much, and I'm gonna reinterpret and reinforce your message. Things are better than they were, but they're not over yet. So wear your mask when you're out in public, wash your hands, social distance, all of those good things, right?
Absolutely. That's how we keep this under control. That's the
Right. Well, thanks so much and have a great day.
Thank you. You guys too. I look forward to the program.
Thanks. Hey, Tony Sharp. Good morning. You gotta unmute yourself.
I'm sorry. Had both of you.
Did you push somebody out of their office so you could have such a great view? Because that's not what I remember your office looks like.
No, this is my normal office. I get to see the police station in the back. I feel pretty safe right now here at the bank, which is always a good thing. So
what's going on at Renaissance?
Yeah, a lot going on. I know that, as Nicole said, there's always, I think she said Heart Awareness Month. Well, we don't have anything like that in the banking world, but it's always good to have a pulse check on your finances and your, what's going on in your life in the financial world. So, what we've got going on at Renaissance, we continue to work through the COVID challenges. We social distance ourselves from clients, and we wear a mask, and we try to stay away, in our own bubble, if you will, when we're outside of work. But with that said, we've got a lot of things going on with PPP. As for those, if you're a business owner, if you're watching and you need help, we can help you with that. On the PPP front, we've had lots of experience, and between Diane, myself, and Harrison Crabtree, and our folks at our Cool Springs branch, we have someone there that could help support you with that if you need to get some assistance there. So right now there's several businesses out there that need help. We're here to help. Whether you bank with us or not, we can help you out either way. So come on down and talk to us and see us. And again, we're always so glad to be a sponsor of this event. We absolutely love being part of this.
And I think we may have lost Mindy.
We did. So we'll just power on through, Tony.
Power
if you want
on.
Yeah. That's what you get when you do a Zoom webinar. But I'm Carly Schroer Jewell. I'm the Director of Community Engagement, so I'll head it up. So we're excited to be here with you guys. Thanks for being here on Facebook. I guess we'll go ahead and introduce our panelists. So this morning we've got Jamon Daughtry from the Good Food Group and Robert Blair from the FSSD board. So thanks guys for being here this morning. And then after they speak, we'll have Dion Lucas from the National Museum of African American Music. She is the Director of Retail Marketing. And then after that, we'll have Doris McMillan, who is one of our lovely board members and a great member of the community. So we'll start with Robert and Jamon.
Well, I'm back. Hang on one second. Don't know what that just did, but we do want to start, as I mentioned to our panelists. Late last year, one of those people that we all knew in Franklin, Alderman Pearl Bransford, passed away at the end of November, and it was a significant loss to our community. And she was a great supporter of Franklin Tomorrow. She attended our Vision City trips, always was one of the first people to arrive at Breakfast with the Mayors, and always had great questions for us when we would meet and discuss issues and topics. And her family, working with her family and Franklin Mayor Ken Moore, Franklin Tomorrow was designated as the collection point for a scholarship to be established at Columbia State Community College in the health sciences field, because Pearl's career was in the health sciences as a nurse and as a nursing administrator, very, very respected in her community at Vanderbilt and other places that she worked. And so we are proud to note today that we have raised and the community has contributed more than $30,000 to honor Pearl in creating the scholarship at Columbia State, but it's not too late to donate to that. And you can do so through our Franklin Tomorrow website, franklintomorrow.org, or send a check to P.O. Box 383, Franklin 37065. But right now, we're going to start today by honoring Pearl with a video the city put together, and just remember her for her commitment and service to our community.
You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round, and you can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Move mountains.
I take pride in embracing the past and looking forward to the future. I think that's how we get things done, when we engage the local folks, when we engage the neighbors and friends. And I'm a believer of that.
Rise up, I rise unafraid, I rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. And I rise up, I like the waves, I rise up, in spite of the ache, I rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again.
I love Franklin. I love the quality of life here. I have enjoyed these last few years working here with a group of folks, and not only at this desk and talking and solving problems regarding the city, but the folks that's out there that we are working for.
Mountains, bring it to his feet. Move mountains, and we'll rise up. I like the waves. We'll rise up in spite of the ache. We'll rise up, and we'll do it 1,000 times again.
We were a very lucky community to have a leader like Pearl. I always choke up when I see that video, because I think about all those times together and the laughs and the serious conversations as well. And so we will miss her, and really hope that the next person who is elected to her position in October as an at-large alderman will do what Pearl did, and that is represent our whole city, because Pearl was a great representative for Franklin. Around the world, the people in Canada, people in Germany who knew her through sister cities, her relationship, she was one of those people to know. So we're here today to get to know some more people. And again, you can contribute to the Pearl Bransford Scholarship Fund through Franklin Tomorrow, and then the scholarships will be endowed at Columbia State. But we're going to kick off People to Know with two guys who are been working along a year or so, I think, on a project, the Black Business Coalition, Jamon Daughtry and Robert Blair. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
And so I'm going to have, which of you would like to tell me a little bit about what the Black Business Coalition, how it got started, and who's working on that, and the organization that's pulling that through.
Oh yeah, I'd be happy to share. Can you hear me okay?
Great.
Wonderful. So good morning, Frank Talks, and I'm going to be speaking today on behalf of my co-chairs. First, just want to say what a beautiful tribute that was to Alderman Bransford. I think someone shared in the chat they wish that they could have known her more. I would echo that sentiment as well. So a true jewel for the community. So as Mindy shared, my name is Jamon Daughtry. On behalf of my co-chairs, it's an honor to introduce to Frank Talks the Williamson County Black Business Coalition. The Black Business Coalition falls under the umbrella of Williamson Inc.'s Inclusion and Diversity Initiative. The coalition exists to support Black business owners in Williamson County by providing them with networking opportunities, access to capital, minority contracting opportunities, professional development, and visibility. The coalition is co-chaired by 4 individuals. So that's Tara Blue, and she's the executive director at Community Child Care Centers here in Franklin. Robert Blair, who's with us on today, and he's the owner of B Media. In addition, he's the chair of the Franklin Special School District. We have Jeff Magruder, who's the chief relationship officer of Citizens Savings and Trust Bank, and myself, and I'm the owner operator of the Good Food Group here in Franklin, and we operate McDonald's restaurants in Williamson County and some of the surrounding counties. And so you asked that I share just a little bit about myself, and I'll share that for our organization, the Good Food Group, we've been doing business here. Our office is located here in Franklin, and this year, 2021, will mark the 20th year that we've been serving the Franklin and Williamson County community and surrounding communities. So it's an honor for us to have been a part of the community this long, and it's particularly rewarding when we can reinvest in the community in this particular way by serving as the Black Business Coalition co-chair. And then in addition, Robert has deep roots here as in Franklin as well. In addition to our deep roots, Tara and I also serve as board members on Williamson Inc. board as well. So thus far, the coalition has been supported by 3 very key individuals that I'd like to recognize. First, Matt Largent at Williamson Inc. has been instrumental in the very formation of the coalition. Our mayor, Dr. Moore, has been a great sounding board on strategy and moving forward, and an advocate for our endeavors. And also by Ellie Westman Chin, who I'm sure by now has transitioned into her new role in Madison, Wisconsin, but truly is bought in and invested in what we're wanting to accomplish. And we'll be working with her counterpart, Megan, now with Visit Franklin.
So let me ask a question, Jamon and Robert,
Sure.
and draw Robert into the conversation. The chamber created an inclusion and diversity task force or committee. Why was that important in Williamson County? Because there are a number, I'm sure, of Black-owned businesses and minority-owned businesses, but what really brought this to the forefront, Robert or Jamon or both?
Well, I can speak to maybe not the inclusion and diversity initiative in its totality. I think that might be a question for Matt, but I know that Williamson County and Franklin are wanting to attract and invite a diverse set of consumers and travelers into our community. And one way to do that is to highlight the equity that the diverse equity that's represented within our community. So our task is to really steward the health of Black-owned businesses here in Williamson County, and create that attraction for our economy.
Robert, as Jamon said, you grew up here. You've been here I'm not gonna say how old you are or anything like that. I'll let that go. But tell us, I mean, this is sort of an outgrowth of your work as a community volunteer, the Franklin Special School District Board Chair. That's a volunteer position, but you are working with the Herald and other organizations on spotlighting Black history and Black business, right?
Yes, I am, Mindy, and good morning to everybody. First of all, enjoyed the video about Alderman Bransford, and I'm like you, every time I see it, I can get a little teary-eyed because Pearl and I were, very good friends. And in the year of 2003, when Pearl decided that she wanted to go for the Alderman position, she and John Schroer, who was the chair of the Franklin Special School District Board at that time, asked if I would be interested in replacing Pearl. And I was, and so they kind of encouraged me to go for that position. And so 18 years later, I find myself still there. So, but that's been a joyous ride. I have a passion for working in education and working with kids, and now being the chair of the Franklin Special School District. Very proud of meeting the challenges that are coming our way as a school district during this period, but with our director and our board, we've been able to navigate and do some great things to keep our kids going forward. And I did grow up here in Franklin and went through the Franklin Special School District and Franklin High School. One of the things you mentioned was we had a call last summer. I got a call from Matt and Ellie and Ken Moore, and they were interested in putting together this Black Business Coalition. And one of my initial comments back to all three were, if this is going to be something that's going to float out temporarily and then come back in and nobody's interested after the tide rises and come back in, then I did not want to be a part of it. It had to have long-term, and they had to be committed to it. And I think all four co-chairs made that, made the commitment to do it only if they were going to be committed. I did not want to be a part of something that was, again, going to be something that just happened for a minute. And then, again, when the tide turns, then everybody goes another way and you're left there wondering. So once I personally, and I think the other co-chairs, got the commitment that Matt and Ken and then I think Ellie, as Jamon alluded to, has moved on. We got the commitment that this would be a long-term plan. Then we started meeting. We actually meet every Wednesday by Zoom, and we haven't missed a meeting except for we took a break over the Christmas holidays. Those were the only two meetings other than that, and we've been able to come up with, one of the things we wanted to do was, Matt actually asked me, because for the Williamson Herald, this is the 5th year producing a salute to Black excellence, Black business, Black churches, Black health and wellness. This year we're doing, prosperity and future. But one of the things I had done was to try to identify Black businesses and their struggle. And that was even before the COVID period. So one of the first things we did was work with the chamber on putting together a Black business directory, and we're constantly updating that. So that can be found on the website at the Williamson Inc. website. And again, we're constantly updating that, constantly trying to find ways to make that better and to find Black businesses and to engage them. Jamon may talk about, we've got some things, we had planned to do some workshops, some serious workshops that would answer questions that Black businesses have. And we also wanted to do some mixers to get to know each other. Of course, during this time, we've been unable to do that, but we're still reaching out in various ways to reach Black businesses. One of the things we're doing, we're raising funds to do a survey, and we've hired a company that will do that for us. So we're still in the midst of. I think we're looking for 35,000, but I think we've raised 20 so far. So still got a little way, but we're about to engage in this survey. And as Jamon said, we've had great response. We've just begun to roll this out to the community. We had a meeting with the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, and it was well received by them. And then we had a meeting with County Mayor Rogers Anderson. So again, well received by him. And so we're beginning to get out and talk to people and get this out in front of the community and letting them know our vision and what we've done so far. So Jamon may have something to add.
So Jamon, you had a presentation at the Board of Mayor and Aldermen recently and shared a slide with them. So if you want to share that with our audience as we wrap up this discussion on the Black Business Coalition, that'd be great.
There we are. Can you see the screen there?
Mm-hmm.
All right, wonderful. Yes, we're very excited about where we are right now and about our objectives for 2021. Just building on what Robert shared, we have identified 5 objectives that we want to achieve in 2021. One is to increase the Black Business Chamber membership by 10%, Williamson Inc. Chamber membership by 10%, then host 4 networking events, host 3 professional development occasions, and then also establish deliberate funding strategies with Williamson Inc. financial partners. We know that the first step to achieving these goals is to complete a comprehensive survey that Robert spoke to, which truly quantifies our group. So it lets us know how many Black businesses are in Williamson County, who their customers are, what their goods and services may be, and also just how we can help them to engage in the Williamson economy. So if you'd like to help support, if you're an audience listener today, you'd like to help support, we do have these different levels and that we'd like to ask that you consider, from bronze to platinum. We've got just about every level, starting at 1,500 to 25,000, and we've got just about every level has been represented thus far. If you'd like to be the first to contribute at that $25,000 level, you're more than welcome to do that. And the information's on the screen to contact Robert Blair. He's our point of contact for contributions at the number there, 615-397-2927. And then also by email at mediablair2@gmail.com.
Great. Well, thank you both so much for joining us this morning and telling us about the Black Business Coalition and the impact, and then also Robert about the project with the Williamson Herald to spotlight excellence in Black business and in our community leadership. So we're excited about both of those. So thanks so much.
Thank you,
Mindy.
Mindy.
Move on and talk with our Dion Lucas. So Dion is the regional marketing director. You have a long title, so I'm going to butcher it if I try to do it, but I would love to introduce you as from the National Museum of African American Music, which recently opened in downtown Nashville. Now I know that's got to be a challenge in a pandemic, but tell us a little bit about the museum and what people will see if they visit.
Sure. Well, first, I'd like to thank you guys for having me. I've lived in Franklin about 6 years, and I've met Robert Blair early on in moving here, and so he has kept me extremely busy. since I've been here. So as we all know, Robert is really good at putting people who want to go to work. So thank you, Robert, for your support and for your connections and introductions and always calling on me for donations. So thank you. So if you come to visit the museum, you can expect a lot of COVID protocols. We've worked in conjunction with the Vanderbilt Medical School, and we have crafted a pretty robust COVID plan. We're seeing about, like this weekend, we had about 1,000 guests. We're only open on Saturdays and Sundays. So we have a nurse there that's taking temperatures and asking screening questions, but we have a variety of different things, reduced capacities. We have additional staff that we've hired to maintain social distancing and remind people not to get too close. We have extended the services of the janitorial crew so that they are there just all day. And they're constantly cleaning and wiping down stairwells and seats and just keeping everything sanitized at all times. So it's important to sanitize the museum, but not sanitize the experience. And so you don't want to make the sanitizing the star of the show. And so we've worked really, really hard, but we do have microphone covers and earphone covers because it's a very interactive museum. And so we just want everybody to feel comfortable.
Well, let's start, Dion, by telling us exactly where the museum is and just how long this has been in the works.
Well, the museum is located on 5th and Broadway. So it is right in the heart of downtown Nashville. And so we're excited to be neighbors to the Bridgestone Arena, as well as the Ryman, and all of the different fun attractions that are right there surrounding us. 5th and Broadway is the largest single development in the history of Tennessee. So it's one developer that's developed all 460 million square feet. So we're pretty excited about that. There's over 32 restaurants. There is a business tower. There's a residential tower that's the most expensive per square feet and also in the state of Tennessee history. So it's a brand new fancy experience with lots of really cool restaurants and retail shops like Sephora and Free People, but also Slim and Huskies and Hattie B's and Eddie V's and Jenny's Ice Cream and Kava and just lots of food, but it's really big. So you get to get a lot of steps in between all the good food. The museum is 56,000 square feet, and it is 6 permanent galleries. It's equipped with a theater that seats about 195 people, and you kind of start there in the intro film. But the museum is completely laid out chronologically. So it's a history museum that's set to music. So what kind of music came to this country with slavery? And then what kind of music came as a result of the civil rights movement and prohibition, the war on drugs, the Harlem Renaissance. So every single period of American history, there's music that came out of that. And so we tell that story in a way that's super interactive and very high tech and is accessible and approachable for a variety of different and diverse groups.
So you and I were talking, hang on one second. You and I were talking before we went on about the Tennessean yesterday spotlighted the role of music in our nation's growth, but also the role that Nashville played, not for the thing that maybe people necessarily think of Music City, but the impact of Jefferson Street and the African American music on a wider audience, such as Jimi Hendrix. I mean, that blew my mind a little bit yesterday.
Yeah, so, Nashville has an extremely rich history in music outside of country music, from the beginning of the Fisk Jubilee Singers being the first group from America to ever tour across the world. Not the first Black group, but the first group. And so they have their 150th birthday this year in October. So we're excited to celebrate with them. But Jefferson Street is where a lot of the very famous artists of this generation and many more got their start. So from Jimi Hendrix to B.B. King. There's just a really rich history. So before artists were allowed to perform in integrated bars and integrated clubs, they performed on Jefferson Street and honed their craft, and then took that success and spread it all over the country and the world. So we're very proud of the significance of Jefferson Street. And then what a lot of people don't know is United Pressing, that's also housed in Nashville, pressed all of Motown's music. And so if you go to United Pressing, there is an apartment above it because those artists were not allowed to stay in the hotels here in Nashville. So they built an apartment as part of the pressing company. So that apartment is still there where all of the Motown artists stayed while their records were being printed.
That's amazing. So the museum is set up chronologically. How much time would the average person need to go through the museum and experience the exhibits? And because some of them are interactive and that sort of thing. So how much time would you allow to do that?
So the average is about 90 minutes. I mean, but there are people that stay 3 hours and 4 hours. So some people, of course, want to read every word and take in every picture. And then some people, so we've been open 3 or 4 weekends. And so some weekends I've seen the exact same people come back again. So they just, they have memberships, which are only $50 for the year, and then they can come as much as they want. So we're seeing that there are people that literally come every weekend and every day of the weekend. So they just kind of take it in small bites. So we have the Wade in the Water Gallery, and then we have Crossroads, A Love Supreme, One Nation Under a Groove, which is our largest gallery, and then we have The Message.
Wow. It's a great time to tour museums with the Picasso exhibit at Frist right now, and the openings of some new exhibits at the Tennessee State Museum, which is not that far from where you all are. It's actually on Jefferson, basically. So that's kind of cool. So it'd be a great way to see some of those and add this to the list. So what can people do besides attending? What can people do to support the museum, the National Museum of African American Music?
Right. Well, thank you for that. So to buy a membership is very helpful. So for a family, it's $100 for a year. For an individual, it's $50. And then there are discounts for students and military as well. There is also an amazing gift shop, and it's called Amplify. It's a pretty cool concept. We like to call it the last exhibit. Because it also is very educational and tells a lot of really good stories about different aspects of Black music. It's also a marketplace for artists. So when you come in, you'll see items from India.Arie, and you'll see merchandise from Mary J. Blige and Louis Armstrong, and just a variety of different artists. But then there's a lot of local artisans. So we've made a point to give minority businesses an opportunity to sell their merchandise, because most often, you won't find many represented in the many attractions that already exist in Nashville. And so we made a point to work with them and make sure that they have access and help them expand their business to this particular type of industry. So we've been excited about that. So you can go to our website, NAMAM.org, and purchase things from our shop, and that is also very helpful.
So you all are in the tourist center of Nashville. So you'll be drawing people again when the pandemic ends. So we'll be drawing people from around the world and deepening the meaning of Music City to a lot of people, right? Giving them a new idea and concept.
Yeah, Music City is everybody's city. We love country music. Country music's roots were also African American roots, because people tend to forget that Black people were also country. So we worked very closely with Charlie Pratt's team before he passed. Just also we work very closely with Rhiannon Giddings as we celebrate Americana music, and she has been a part of the exhibits as well. And just the many, many greats, some of the newer ones like Kane Brown and Mickey Guyton. Darius Rucker is one of our chairs. So we embrace all types of music as America's music, and there's room for everybody.
Mickey Guyton, she sure is having a great year.
Isn't she? She is amazing, and she is a trailblazer as a Black female in this space.
Yeah, she's great. So, well, I can't wait to find a weekend that I can come down and visit. And I'm probably going to buy my membership when we get off this Zoom call just to be supportive. And we appreciate it for sure. And thank you so much. And we've put the link to the website on both the Zoom call as well as on our Facebook Live video. So people will be able to find it, and we'll make sure that we have that on our website as well. So thanks for being with us, Dion. And maybe we'll get you on one of our upcoming podcasts to talk to you about just Dion, a little more about getting to know you, okay?
That would be great. I'm here to support in any way I can.
All right, thanks so much.
Okay.
So our final guest this morning, it's hard to call Doris McMillan a guest. She is one of our Franklin Tomorrow board members and a great board member and a longtime community resident. And Doris, I want to ask you to tell us the brief history of how you came to Franklin and Williamson County. Unmute yourself and tell us how you came to Franklin and Williamson County.
Oh, goodness. Very good morning, first of all, to everyone. And that's a story in itself. And I must say, Dion, I have to lead in from Motown and being on the boulevard, hanging out on the boulevard and hanging out at Hitsville, USA, is quite an experience when I hear that, because it takes me back to my early life. But I came en route to Tennessee through Ohio. Most people associate me with Detroit because I work for General Motors. But I actually went to design school in the Motor City, and then picked up with GM in Detroit. And I laugh. I have a child for every GM factory I worked at. I have a child born in that city. Okay, so I have a Detroit child, an Ohio child, and I have a Franklin child. And I came en route through General Motors, through Saturn. And for all of y'all that know manufacturing, it was the first company corporate that did the synchronized workspace, and it was a shift. It was a pivot for GM, because they were losing so many jobs to Mexico, and relocating this factory to Tennessee was quite exciting for everyone. And so we were, my family, my husband has since retired, but we were one of the very few families that moved here that was still working within the corporation, because they hired a lot of the laid off workers from around the United States. And it was a way to keep jobs in the United States at that time. And so I actually worked on the floor. I was a union worker, and I left to become one of their partners and work with Dick Sanderson, one of the original 99. He was one of the original 99 people hired to bring Saturn into this Middle Tennessee area. And so with that, I have a background in early childhood education. Most people don't know that. And I was one of the first teachers there. We were the first corporate childcare in America. And my boss, a lot of you all, I'm dating my age, a lot of you all will know Captain Green Jean. Remember that on children's TV? I know, that was my boss. So I became a Saturn partner. And when I became a Saturn partner, he was the owner of Corporate Childcare. And so Corporate Childcare partnered with Saturn to bring that job space for, and it was a resource for Saturn workers. We were the first corporate daycare in America. And so we opened up the door for a lot of families to be able to come into work and bring their kids. They dropped their kids off with us, and then they went to work. And so after my contract was up, I brought 2 children here, and I had a need, I had a burning for this community. And hearing a lot and coming back into the South, I grew up in the South, I wanted to be a part of my children's life. And that's how I got into the community. I think any parent who is conscious of their child's future, they really want to be a part of the community that surrounds their children. And so I left the company and baked bread for about 2 months, learned how to make yeast rolls for about 2 months. And then I headed out into the Franklin Special School District and worked a little bit over there, worked with, that was a time when the Board of Education, Mr. Blair, had to approve you to be a sub. Do you remember that, Mindy? You didn't just go in and put in an application. So I went over there and they said, go see Mary Mills. And I knew I had a good mentor and friend when I walked into the school to meet her and to get to know her. And I couldn't find her. She wasn't in her office. She was in the lunchroom. I had to meet her in the lunchroom. And she was opening ketchup and mustard packs for all the students that were eating corn dogs that day. But what impressed me most about Mary Mills was she knew every child in that cafeteria. And she was a servant leader. And I knew they had sent me to the right place to be mentored by the right person. And so going into the Franklin School District for a smart time, I worked with Sandy Hines to help develop that kindergarten MAC program and help walk her through that. And then I went back and that's where I met Mr. Blair. So we have a story, we have a history. And we have the Inner City Coalition. And that's when he hired me on to be, he was directing that, and he hired me on to be their youth program director. And that's when we went into our community and started working with our children. And Carter Savage, if you all remember Carter Savage. So Franklin was a part of his thesis for his PhD in working with young children and going through that Boys and Girls Club program. And out of that, we developed quite a bit. So I must brag on Mr. Blair a little bit because he gave me the desires of my heart as a director. Together, we were able to raise the funding to take 32 children who became our power of attorney. They were our children. And we took them on the Underground Railroad tour. We were gone for 7 days and we went into Canada with these children. And we dialogued not only in our literacy program with ICC, but also with the hearts and minds of Black people in our community and the significance that we have in our story in the historical binding of America. There's quite a bit of Black history here. And we did that, Mr. Blair. We took those children and we sort of turned over America. They weren't ready for us, but we did it. And we had a good time. And it's wonderful to see these children as grown-ups today. And they still remember the hand that ICC had in their lives. And so moving from ICC and starting my own business, some of y'all may not know that, Mindy knows that. I have a small business. So I'm that seamstress behind the stage. So I'm the celebrity seamstress, and you've probably seen a lot of my work and not know it. I've been Naomi Judd seamstress for the past 21 years. And I've worked with the likes of Beyonce and Ariana Grande and quite a few little people there. And before the pandemic, my last job, which was the best, was with Tyler Perry. I was part of that, the Farewell Tour. I was part of that with him, the Nashville base. So I worked with a lot of video people and production companies and a little bit of different in the entertainment industry. And I've had some dresses at the Country Music Dion, at the Country Music Hall of Fame. I had 2 of my dresses on display there in the Judd's tour. So if you went there, you saw those dresses. Those came out of Franklin, Tennessee. And I've worked on their tours and the Vegas tour, the book tour, the Bravo tour. So that's one of those little hidden gems. I like to sew and bead. And, and so going with that, I'm over here at New Hope right now. And I want to talk a little bit more about that because this is where we are in the life of a child. And I've always loved and advocated for children. And so being here and being director of admissions and enrollment management is more of a privilege than a job. And it's what we bring to the community. You know, we're grown-ups and we're settled in our being. But the life of a child is just really, really important. And when we make change within the life of a child, then we have the ability to change the family. We change the direction of where we want to be with any type of relationship, whether it's sexism, racism, age, gender, anything. when you educate the child, they have a way of softening the heart and piercing the heart. And so you have effective change. And then you're able to pivot without being so hard on yourself. You know, as adults, we deal with so many things and we have to be politically correct, but children come to us in the most purest form. And I love the music because New Hope music is a big part of New Hope. The arts is a big part of New Hope. We have 2 languages here that we teach the children, Spanish and Latin. Most of our children graduate pretty proficient in Latin, which helps make them a little bit more competitive out in the independent field. We're a local private school. We are faith-based. And so we have 15 feeder schools that really reach at our children when they leave here. They're pretty well rounded when they leave New Hope Academy. And so we have our structure, how we admit children is a little bit different. It's quite interesting how we do that. We reserve 40% for full pay students, 40% for scholarship students, and 20% for financial aid students. So we have not only a racial mix and a diverse mix of children, we deal with the socioeconomic story of our community. And so we bring in all of the above. So our children are able to navigate themselves in a lot of different directions other than play. And we play hard over here. We play a lot over here. But we were founded in 1996 by Paige Pitts, and it's a Christ-centered school. And of course, you know, we stick to the model of racial reconciliation and a diverse being for all of us. All of you all have to come visit. I'll give you a tour. You'd like my tours. They're pretty interactive and fun.
It might take as long as going through Dion's museum. I'm thinking though, you give a tour. I'll tell you that for sure.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned about Black history in our community and in our country and in our state. And recently you were appointed to the Tennessee Historical Commission, which is a landmark appointment really. And we're so proud to have you on our board, and you are sought after to be on boards. But tell us a little bit about how you feel you're influencing and impacting that organization, the Tennessee Historical Commission.
Well, Bindi, I have to say, when you see me, you see this beautiful Blackness. And I'm just so proud of being a Black woman, and there's no struggle in that being. And I try not to make it a segregated or diverse conversation. It's just who I am when I walk in the room, and it's who you have to embrace. And so in saying that, my love of history is my history, my Black history. And I share it with all of you as friends and colleagues. And that part of going onto that board was an opportunity that was granted to me as a gift. And it's being able to tell the truth. It's being able to sit across the table and speak from my Black presence, speak from my Black voice. And we know, and we will hear a lot of people say during different times of the season that we all create history. We're all a part of history. But the beauty to being Black are the gifts and the legacy that you receive in pushing a country forward. A lot of the beauty and the wealth that you see came through the hands of the Black population. So being on the Tennessee Historic Commission, you're able to tell this story and to sit alongside people from all 3 of the grand divisions. You're able to represent that flag in its fullness. You're able to speak a voice or have a presence that people can identify with, and to have a softness where people can hear you. There is nothing wrong with Black people saying, I represent Black history, not at all. But what we must do is we must have the truth and the faith to have these dialogues, to be able to learn from each other. Franklin has been very welcoming to me when I moved here. It's a greater part of my success. It's being able to take these same type of relationships and move them over to the Tennessee Historic Commission and share what we have here in Franklin with the rest of Tennessee and how we do things. You know, we're pretty civilized here in Franklin. We can agree to disagree here.
For the most part, yes, we can. And we have quite a good history of that. And we can all be friends and still share share that time together. So we are so proud to have you on our board
Thank you,
and for
Mindy.
the work you do with New Hope. But I'm also proud to be able to send you. I've sent several brides to you who
Yes,
need their wedding dress hemmed, and it's the most important day of their life. It's like they're winning a Grammy or something. They want to look their best. So we appreciate you for your
Thank you, Mindy.
wonderful background. It's been great. So Patrick, have you learned anything today?
I really have. I was just sitting here thinking, and yes, this has been extremely enlightening. And Doris, your wisdom it just protrudes in our board meetings, and just hearing you talk today, I love it. And New Hope is a shining light in this city, and it's got a phenomenal mission. And just to see Jamon and Robert, and knowing the chamber's desire to further business in the community as a whole, but also realizing that it's important to be intentional and be really strategically intentional about supporting our Black business community. It's something that this community needs to hear, and we need to support. And then Dion, I can't wait. I'm a music guy, and so I can't wait to get down there and see. Actually, I've seen some pictures from other folks who have been on social media, and it looks like it's first class across the board. I mean, it looks like a profession. It looks like a Grammy show, really. I don't know. I saw the pictures, and it looks so well produced. So I'm excited to go see that. So I enjoyed it, Mindy. I really did. I hope everyone else did. We had a great attendance on here as well. So
We did.
people are excited to hear.
And we have had such great response to people watching these over and over as we post them on our Facebook and our YouTube page, as well as on our website. And so we'll be sending out that link and posting it on our website so people can send that out to their audience and view it. But we really would encourage people to join our YouTube page and like our YouTube, Franklin Tomorrow, so that you can be notified for the Thursday premiere of our Front Porch Conversations podcast, which will be this Thursday morning. And I don't think we're going to tell you the premiere time yet. We want to announce that in a different way this week, but it'll be Thursday morning. It's only 20 minutes of your time, but you will learn something about Franklin, and you'll learn more about Patrick Baggett and Franklin Tomorrow and some of the other
Mindy, I have
organizations
to say,
he's involved in.
I gotta say this is I've said this joke a couple of times, but it's true. On these podcasts, they have these professional mics, and your voices sound deep. And in my head, I sound like Tom Hanks. But then when you hear yourself, you sound like Bozo the Clown, but it's fun. It was enjoyable, but sitting around, it's interesting. I can't wait to hear everyone else's though. I enjoy listening to everyone else's. I can't wait to hear everyone else's and I hope this is something everyone subscribes to, and throughout this year and in the future, you stay up to date with, because it's going to be, I see the potential. Mindy sees the potential. The board sees the potential. It's going to be great for this community.
Mindy Mindy and Patrick. So let me extend a really good shout out to Mr. Blair and Mr. Dowdry and Miss Lucas, and especially to Franklin Tomorrow for bringing the height of this morning and the energy you brought. It speaks to the quality of life here in Franklin. And we should never be dismissed at getting to know people of different backgrounds and different spaces. And so I just want to thank you all for doing that and connecting our community in such a very special way that's very meaningful to your African-American citizens, and what you as Franklin Tomorrow offer, not only for this morning, but for 365 days. We have this energy to look forward to.
Well, we try to bring it for sure, and we couldn't do it without our partners like Williamson Medical Center and Renaissance Bank, who help us with Frank Talks. But we've sent a lot of links in the program, and we'll be adding those links to the Facebook and to the website so people can learn more about the National Museum of African American Music and how they can get involved in the Black Business Coalition and support that. And we'll even put the New Hope Academy up there, Doris, so people can learn more about that.
I love it.
But our next Frank Talks will be in March, and we'll be bringing back our City Hall on Wheels with Franklin City Administrator Eric Stuckey and his guests. We might even see Mayor Moore again. Who knows? We might see him again. But that'll be our March program. And then we'll be rolling out something in March that we'll be doing in the spring, a new initiative that we're excited about. And we'll learn more about that over the next month. So thanks. Stay tuned. Stay engaged. Keep your mask handy and wear it, please, so we can get back together. We need to be together. And wash your hands. Stay safe, stay engaged, and we'll see you soon on the next Frank Talks or Franklin Tomorrow program. Have a great day.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you
you all. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.